What's up, folks? Living the Lines. We're here at FiveFold Media Studios with our producer and FiveFold Media CEO, Michael McGregor.
What's up,
What's
bud?
up, man? I haven't talked to you much this week. What have you been into?
Just busy doing the thing, like always.
I raided the FiveFold Media studio bars.
We got a full bar in there for sure.
Old Smoky Hunch Punch. So we're gonna.
Oh, you got the old Smoky out? Okay.
That's what I seen in there. I found some ice and some Jello shooter cups or something. I know. I raided the bar.
This is going to be an interesting episode, guys. Just to say the least. We're just getting started.
Hell yeah. All right, first of all, I guess last week we had Dustin Spears on here.
Yeah.
So if you want to go check that out, you can watch Dustin break multiple HIPAA violations and possibly go to prison.
Yep.
But he's done that for us, and we appreciate that.
Took him over the team.
We give Brian an aneurysm probably.
Yeah, for sure.
But today we want to just talk about kind of the FiveFold Media side of things. And I guess just kind of start out, dude, like, how did you started out like in music, playing guitar and singing and writing and stuff? Like,
right.
When did you make the jump into like the media side of things?
Well, I mean, I had always been doing my own videos for myself. You know, all of my videos that you see on YouTube and social media, I've always done my own videos. And as time went on, I progressed and got better, eventually got better gear and started learning about it and kind of just became a nerd about all of it, really. Right. And so now I consider myself like a camera gear junkie. And, you know, there's like many camera people out there. But I guess the first person I ever stepped out on a limb and done something for was Jared Hill.
Okay.
We did his Love and Family video. That was the first music video that I'd shot for someone else.
So up until then, you were mainly just shooting music videos for yourself.
Yeah.
And like just kind of down-home photography and stuff.
Yeah, pretty much mainly just my videos and stuff.
Just video. So you mainly got into the video side before the photography side.
Yeah. Other than taking, you know, random pictures of the kids and stuff whenever they was coming up and growing up and stuff.
What was like your first piece of gear, like your first guitar, but for, you know, that side of things, the camera side?
Well, I started out with the old Canon camcorder.
Okay.
I still got it in the drawer over there and still use it on videos and stuff.
Yeah.
It's cool to use that old stuff too and kind of mix it in with the good stuff and the old stuff together in a music video.
Style.
Yeah. But I started out as like a Vixia, I think it's a Vixia R50 or something like that. Just a little $300 cheap camcorder, pop a little SD card in there. That's what a lot of my earlier YouTube videos are on. And then we ended up getting a Canon Rebel T6i or something like that, and the old lady had bought that without my knowledge.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What'd you buy this for?" I was like, "I'm selling that immediately, and we're buying something different."
Return.
So I sold that, bought my Canon 80D. That was a huge upgrade.
Oh, so you wasn't mad at her for buying anything. You were just mad at her for buying not good enough stuff.
Well, she didn't know what she was buying anyway.
Right,
she just thought she was buying like top of the line camera from
You're
Walmart.
Like, no, I've already looked into this.
Right, yes. I'd done my research.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I got a Canon 80D. I'm a Canon shooter, so I shoot everything I shoot's with Canon.
Right.
And so it's but yeah, started out with Canon 80D. It's when I really kind of up my quality and learned about how lenses can really change it up. I mean, it ain't really always the camera body. You know, you can have a cheap camera body and throw a good lens on there and have phenomenal results, you know. So I learned a lot about it, just learning over the years and stuff.
So since TikTok is not banned, you've kind of been pushing that side of things a lot on the FiveFold Media side. Mm-hmm. You've been posting, going back through, like this past week, I've been seeing a lot of your posts is like stuff from that you're reintroducing that maybe stuff you shot before TikTok was even a platform.
Well, yeah.
And one of those would have been, like you said, your first shot with Jared Hill.
Yeah.
You went to, Jared Hill's a Birmingham singer-songwriter, musician.
Yep.
Where did y'all shoot that at?
We shot it at the local park there in Alena.
And that is one of the videos that's recent on your TikTok.
Yeah, it is. I got a little short clip on there.
A clip of it. Yeah.
You can go to the YouTube, FiveFold Media YouTube, and see the full video.
Right.
And then also you can go to, better yet, just go to Jared's page and watch it. Would be better. But But yeah,
It was the shoot for which song?
Love and Family.
Love and Family.
Yep, Love and Family. Did Love and Family, and then I kind of produced my own Granddad's Bottle, Grandma's Bible video. I kind of shot that.
Right
with
around
help
the same time.
Yeah, similar around the same time.
Well, y'all went to Helena and shot at the hangar?
That was for the America video.
Okay.
Yeah,
Where did
that
y'all
was,
shoot the first time?
The first time was at the city park up there.
Okay.
It was at the city park. There's the little log cabin in the video. That's right there in the city park. It had a do not enter sign, but we actually entered in anyway.
Yeah.
And went in there and shot it. So yeah, imagine that hanging with Jared Hill.
Right. Were y'all acquainted with each other good at that point, or was that?
Yeah, we was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and Jared met through Mike Flanders, and that's how I met Jared.
Another Nashville producer.
Yeah, another Nashville guy, awesome guy. Shout out Mike Flanders.
Yep. Ben Flanders, his son, is actually just won Guitarist of the Year for playing with Ella Langley.
Yeah, plays with
so
Ella
that's,
Langley.
a huge current thing right now.
And he was with Creed for many years.
Right.
He was Creed's guitar player for many years.
Yeah, he's a beast, man.
He's awesome. I love Ben. He played on a lot of them on my Southern Summer album whenever I did that.
Right.
But yeah.
So, so what are some of the other places you've been? Helena, Alabama. Of course, a lot of the stuff that people see in your videos of your music and stuff is going to be from the Middle Tennessee, North Nashville area.
Yeah, out there, our neck of the woods for that stuff.
Where are some of, like you were, I seen a clip of another artist, I can't recall his name right.
Probably Brooks Woods.
That's exactly right. Yep.
That was down in Quitman, Mississippi.
Okay.
Me and Pops went down there and took a little road trip. Went down there, and it was a lot of fun. That was actually me and Brooks became acquainted on social media, on YouTube. I come across his music one day and sent him a message, and never expected to ever hear back from him.
Right.
And he messaged me back immediately. Next thing you know, me and Dad's loading up the truck. We're heading to Quitman, Mississippi, which is a middle of nowhere town, small town.
Is that
Mississippi.
like, reference North Mississippi, South Mississippi?
I think it's more, they're about an hour from the beach. So they're more south, but kind of middle almost.
Right.
But yeah, they're more south than middle, but yeah, they're down there about an hour from the beach.
First time you've been that far down south?
Well, I mean, I've been to Florida and stuff like that, but been to New Orleans.
Folks are a little different down there.
Yeah, man.
It's a different vibe. It's more flat, but it's a different culture thing.
It is a different culture thing.
It's a different brand of country music and different experiences that those people are having that's coming out of down there.
Totally different sounds and styles and different
all that blues stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, everybody down there that we met, even in the town, not just with hanging out with Brooks, but you know me, I talk to anybody and everybody. Right. I can talk to a wall and be just fine. But everybody I met down there, man, had great hospitality and didn't meet nobody.
You said it was like CMA or like CMT had come to town. They shut the town down.
Yeah, I was big time. We actually, funny story. We actually went out. I went over Brooks's and one night, that Saturday night, I went over Brooks's and I'm like, man, I'm kind of nervous to drive back because I don't like drinking and driving. And I don't condone anything drinking and driving. Don't drink and drive, kids.
Don't drink and drive.
But I'm like, man, right, drink and ride. But I was like, I'm kind of nervous to drive back. We had a little cottage we rented, and he was like, man, he said, if you get pulled over, tell him you're the guy here from Nashville, filming the video. He said, I promise you, they'll probably escort you to the cottage. And I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, man.
And but it was cool though. It was a cool vibe down there. But yeah, they did think it was huge down there. Somebody coming from Nashville, even though I'm not saying I'm a big time person in Nashville, but just having that background and history here in Nashville, it was
See, that's
cool
kind of that plays into the whole thing I've always said. Kind of the basis of why we do this podcast is it means something to a lot of other people around the world.
Sure.
We're kind of immune to it because we're right in the mix of a lot of things all the time. But being from this area and being exposed to the things that are happening in this area, people from other places that don't have that level. Because I mean, if you're down there in Middle Mississippi, your opportunities to see live music are probably slim to none. There's probably you're limited to little dive bars, or if you got a coliseum or a little arena or somewhere 2 or 3 hours away that maybe some bigger bands come to. But like, what is something when you go out on these shoots that maybe you've had to overcome? Like, you got to kind of learn your gear and you got to come up, and you always kind of. Things never really go 100%.
Right.
You ever had like a disaster where you're like, oh, I'm right, like I need to get this done, but like I'm having.
Well, the most recent has been, plugging the cord in for the microphone. Yeah.
Yeah, if you have to ever redo a podcast, it's
sucks.
never as good as the second. It's like recording music. The second take is
Yeah.
never as good. It's usually the first take you get.
So I guess that would have been episode 3. So episode 3 that we put up on the Living the Lines channel was actually a second take because the first 38-minute podcast that we recorded, no audio got recorded, and we missed a good podcast. But hey, you live and you learn. I always double check that cord.
Maybe a checklist for new guys coming up. Like, just make sure, because if you're doing a wedding or something and you get back and you're like, oh no.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've done little things like on shoots and stuff where, I feel like sometimes you just get wrapped up in the moment and you're thinking about what you're doing and not what you need to be doing to get prepared for what you're about to do.
It's like a gig or anything else.
Exactly.
It is a gig.
Yeah. It's just different aspect of it. But
your camera is your instrument.
I get home and pop a card in the computer and start looking at pictures, and I'm like, man, why is that picture so noisy or whatever? That's what you call it when it's like really grainy looking in photo world. You call it noise,
right?
And or in video, and I'm like, why is that picture so grainy and stuff? And I look at my settings, and I'll be like, no wonder my ISO is up to 10,000 and should have been around 1,200.
Right.
So just little things like that, but. Not too much, man. I mean, when you've been doing this for a long time and stuff, I mean, it is easy to overlook the checklist items.
Yeah,
but,
you get complacent.
But if you know what you're doing and stuff, you can kind of work your way around it pretty easily.
It's like an instrument, man. You get the hang of it, and you start to, just fall in there.
Yep.
But like, the camera gear is on, having a good quality piece of equipment's only half of it. Like, the editing is a huge portion of what you do too.
Right.
Knowing how to build a bank of all these shots and knowing that, it's just raw images or clips or sections, but when you already see what it's going to be.
Yeah, I've got the shot, like, especially on a music video, like, I already have the shot list made out beforehand because it sucks going into a music video shoot and just saying, okay, what are we going to do today? Let's come up with some ideas. Like, no, you got to, if you don't have that shot list, that's the main thing, is having a shot list. If you're shooting video, and just know exactly what you're getting, kind of already have the video visualized out in your head, or even wrote down on paper,
Well, that's kind of what separates, different people doing this. Like, anybody can spend the money and buy the gear.
Right, for sure.
If you're don't have that eye or that creative thought process or how it's a producer thing, especially shooting videos. A lot of people can have the same gear, the same setup and everything, and the products will vary dramatically.
Yeah, because I mean, like I said earlier, you can have a cheapo camera and stuff and still get good results out of it. I mean, you can get good results on your iPhone these days.
They shoot whole movies.
You can shoot movies, music videos. So you don't necessarily have to have good stuff. I've just been fortunate enough to be able to pick up some good gear along the way and stuff, and so. I never tell the wife how much I paid for all of it, but, I got it, though,
Just hope if you die, she doesn't sell it for what you actually tell her you got in it.
I know, right? Because somebody's going to get a hell of a deal.
Right.
Yeah. She never even asked, so I've never told her a low amount or a high amount, but she knows I buy good shit, so.
So you kind of got into this just kind of out of necessity of wanting to do your own stuff. Do you have, like, anybody that was your influences, or maybe, like, different, like for me, I grew up watching old VHS tapes of live concert performances, like Leonard Skinner's Freebird, the movie,
Yeah.
And those angles of the people with guitars are just ingrained in your brain. Is there something that kind of inspires you, or somebody that you keep up with, you're a fan of from the media side that you kind of look up to?
I wouldn't really name anybody in particular, but there's a whole YouTube family of us out there.
Right.
And, it's just... that's where I learned how to do all this is on YouTube, and watching other content creators, do their thing, and, just digging in. If I bought a new piece of gear, if I buy a new piece of gear, I've already watched 150 videos on YouTube about it. So I can't even tell you.
It's a beautiful thing in time.
It is. It is.
You can really, the learning curve, you can cut years off of.
Right. Right.
Where before, unless you, were an intern at a media company or like learning the basics for free,
right,
you would have no opportunities.
Yep.
What is something that's coming up? You know, I know like this past week you've kind of been working through a backlog now that TikTok's not dead, kind of posting and building that platform up with some of your old catalog of stuff.
Right.
What do you got coming up in the next, what's February looking like?
Well, February, well, it kicks off at the end of January here on January 31st. Doing a shoot for a girl named Sarah Jones at a writer's round in Nashville.
Where is that at?
It's going to be at D's Music Lounge
The
in
Writers
Madison.
Round, is that D's?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
D's is probably, in my opinion, one of the still legit music bars around the
Real
outskirts
music.
of Nashville.
Yeah.
It's like would be a real pickers hangout. Like we've been trying to get down there. Tuesdays are usually kind of rough for us a lot of times, but we need to get down there sometime because most Tuesdays they do a country blues thing there
Right.
at D's. And it's either like a lot of times it's Kenny Vaughn, which is Marty Stewart's guitar player.
Right.
And they had, I can't pronounce his name, but he's Sturgill Simpson's lead guitar player that played all that stuff on Metamodern
Yeah.
Sounds and stuff. And you see these the highest caliber musicians, and they're literally playing in a dive bar that's probably 1,200 square foot,
Yep.
30 foot from a dirty bookstore.
Yeah.
That is Nashville, Tennessee.
Yep.
When you come in and you fly into Nashville and you get out at B&A and you go right to Broadway, that's not Nashville.
Yeah, it's not Nashville.
Nashville is when you go out on tour with Marty Stewart all weekend, Friday, Saturday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and play these great, theaters and stuff, and you come back home and you jam with your blues band behind the dirty bookstore.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
Madison.
Yep. It's right behind the dirty
That
bookstore.
is, it really is.
It is, right in
You
the parking
look,
lot
if you're
almost.
smoking a cigarette on the front porch of D's, you look right there. It's Jenna's toy box. It's wonderful. That's,
Shout out Jenna's Toy Box.
hey, keeping the ladies and
Hey.
the men satisfied.
Hey, keeping us all happy out here.
But that's still a little glimmer of the old Nashville.
Yeah.
Because you're a little older than me, you might remember it, but like my dad talks about in the mid 80s, early 90s, Nashville was a dump.
Oh, yeah.
He said Broadway was full of just like dirty bookstores and junkies,
Yeah.
And I guess a lot of that really started to change when they started doing the CMA Fest, like Fanfare. It used to be
probably.
Fanfare
Yeah,
back
it
in
did.
your
That's
day.
the OG. Yep.
That brought a lot of tourism to Nashville that wasn't here before.
I think that's what kind of opened the door for Nashville. Was
Yeah.
to see him at, Fanfare back then.
Yeah.
They used to do it
And
at the
it's
old
just
fairgrounds.
grown from there,
Yeah.
man.
And now it's just a huge tourist attraction every year. People come from all countries across the world, not even all states. They come from all
And
countries.
they were still doing that in the early days, in the mid '60s and '70s. But the single reason that was drawing these people from across the world was the Grand Ole Opry.
Right, yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
That people were coming globally to see that performance, which is, really incredible when you think
is.
about it. But now it's all blown away, and I credit a lot of the influx around here too. Do you remember in maybe 2011, 2010, they had the show Nashville?
Yeah. That's the
Right.
voice of country music, kind of.
Well, no, this was like a scripted, like a
Oh,
drama
you're talking about
type show.
Round Rooster Lee.
Yes.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
There was a show, and that's right when everything in Nashville started to
I'm thinking of Nashville Star.
Right.
Yeah, that was back in the day. I was back
Right.
in the day too.
It's just interesting, man. So you got the writers round at D's. We kind of went off on a tangent there, but what is her name again?
Sarah Jones.
Okay.
Sarah Jones. I honestly don't know a whole lot about her.
Right.
I
We
just
still got to do our research on her.
Yeah, I just found, she found me and hit me up and asked me about doing some stuff for her. We got some other things to do with her as well that I ain't got all the details on yet.
Right.
Got that. Got
It's a media client.
yeah.
And being out amongst the scene,
Yep, exactly. That's what it's all about, and getting out there and just being active and networking and stuff like that.
Yeah. And what is coming up after her?
Well, I got a few other things that are not fully locked in yet, but the next locked in thing will be kind of mid-February. Going to be working with a girl named Eliza. I can't think of her last name right off. She's another one that just reached out to me on social media. But we're doing she's doing a photo shoot for an album cover here at the FiveFold Studios. We're going out and shooting some behind-the-scenes stuff for her at another podcast that she's going to be part of on Music Row. And then we're also going tagging along with her and her friend. I guess they're maybe a duo singer group or whatever, or play together. But we're going to a writers round that they're doing that same night. So that whole day is going to be action packed afternoon. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good way to start the week because it's all on a Monday.
Yeah, things are really picking up for you in this FiveFold media thing lately.
For sure, man. It's been
the past. I've been kind of involved in it for the past 6 months or so, and it's just been one thing after another, and we've stayed really busy, man. It's been great. You know, I really see things popping off.
Yeah, I like doing it with you. I think you kind of help keep me on the grind too. You know,
that's what
I'm always trying to wrangle something up. I was talking to you the other day, and I said, "Man, I got to get something going, man. We got to keep the momentum going with it."
Yeah, and that's kind of what we're at with the podcast, man. We just, I think it holds us accountable and makes us get out there, and we need stuff to talk about and fill space.
For sure.
By the time y'all are watching this, February 11th, we're going to be playing at El Po's in Franklin, Kentucky for Sean Burton's Tuesday night open mic night. That's old staple for us. We're always in and around up there if you're ever around up there.
Yep.
Check out Sean and his band, and just everything. This whole area is just full of incredible pickers and stuff, man.
It is.
Let's see. We'll talk about some current events. I don't want to turn this into like a gossip thing, but did you hear about Billy Ray Cyrus?
The old lady was telling me something about it. I saw a guy on TikTok the other day who rewrote the Achy Breaky Heart song and said something about Miley, you can tell your dad he needs to go to rehab or something like that. And I didn't know what it was all about.
Well, evidently, the Trump inauguration, they had Billy Ray Cyrus as a performer.
Okay.
And he got up there, and the opinions that I was hearing, and I still haven't physically seen the clips.
I haven't either.
I've just kind of read the transcripts and kind of the highlights of what it is. He just kind of talked through his opening of the Old Town Road thing. Why Billy Ray Cyrus is at the Trump inauguration, I'll never know. But at one
That's what
point,
threw me for the biggest loop, him even being in the room.
right. It's odd. I don't know who else they had.
Nothing against Billy Ray. I always liked Billy Ray Cyrus. I mean, he's classic.
We're singing Old Town Road at the Trump thing. Is wild,
right,
man.
yeah.
Maybe there was more performers. I'm so out of the loop on a lot of that stuff. But at one point, he looked back towards the backstage and said, "Do y'all," I quote, "y'all want me to sing more, or you want me to just get the hell off the stage?" Which is,
yeah.
Evidently,
I'm going to look this up.
He looked drunk and was staggering around, and he roamed a lot, and he was just kind of hung.
Well, I heard he couldn't even get his guitar strap on. Somebody had to come out and help him put his guitar strap on.
At one point, he was saying, "I'll just snap my fingers, and we'll go off of that." But he responded a couple of days later, and he told people that I wouldn't have missed the honor of playing this event, whether my microphone, guitar, or monitors or anything worked or not. I've learned through all these years, when the producer says, "You're on," you go entertain the folks, even if the equipment goes to hell. He said, "I was there for the people, and we had a blast." That's called rock and roll. And there's a lot of truth to that.
It is. It's all truth, really.
Like, he probably was a little tipsy. Probably took a couple of whatevers that he pops on the side.
Yeah.
But he went up there and done like a professional does.
Act like it never happened.
Keeps on trucking.
Yep.
And if there wasn't smartphones, nobody would have known.
Yep, exactly. And it wouldn't have been no big deal.
It would have never been a big
would ever
deal.
talked about
Because
it.
two of the biggest things that are happening in the music world right now, this is going to kind of be old news by the time people see this, because we're recording this the Friday night before Tuesday, February the 4th. Because I'm going to be out of town on that day. But evidently Bailey Zimmerman kind of had the same thing.
I heard about that too.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you go to Cancun and not get completely fucking wasted?
Well, see, that's the thing. Bailey Zimmerman was drunk at the Luke Bryan's Crash My Playa festival in Cancun.
And I saw Luke Bryan's mom on TikTok. She was hollering for Bailey, and I think she probably was just as tipsy as Bailey was at that show. Luke Bryan's mom's cool as hell. She's funny. She's a character.
I guess Luke Bryan puts them away at a lot of his shows, too.
I'm sure.
A lot of his shows were wild.
Yeah.
And
I saw him in concert
there
back in the day when he was at the top of his game, and And he put on a good show. I'm not a huge Luke Bryan fan, but I have respect
There's a time
for him.
and a place for everything.
Right, exactly.
I am never the person that's going to dog music. If you got the balls to make your music and make your mark and go and stand on a stage in front of whoever, like, it's a huge thing, man.
Yep.
And
Shout out Luke Bryan. Come on the podcast with us, brother.
We would love to talk to you.
Yeah, we'd
sir.
love to have you on the podcast. You and Bailey Zimmerman.
But he got a little tipsy, I guess. And this is kind of been his thing all along.
Yep.
Like, this has
Bailey?
been going on. Yes.
Yeah.
Since he came out. Like,
Yeah.
there's been TikToks popping up once every couple of months of him just up there dogging it out, you know.
Yeah.
He's young, man, and he's green.
Yeah, he
like
is.
he started from nothing, and that's the thing about going 0 to 1,000. Like you can't withstand that. A lot of people can't withstand that pressure.
Yeah.
Like, you need those years of building your chops.
Yep.
And the for 5 fucking people to get to be, you can't go from making YouTube and TikTok videos to playing in front of
overnight.
Morgan Wallen's crowd.
I mean, he went overnight with that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to learn. He's doing exceptionally well given the
for sure.
circumstances. But he made a little comment. He said, "So I'd like to talk about something that's been eating me alive. Last weekend down in Cancun, Mexico, I'm sure everyone has seen the videos of me playing absolutely awful and singing absolutely awful. And I feel like you guys deserve an explanation from me. Because you have had my back through the highs and the lows and through every mistake. So what happened was I decided to drink that day, which was a mistake, and I got up on stage and I was too drunk to play. And I sang awful, I played awful. Nobody got the show they wanted or paid for, and I'm disappointed in myself. If you've been to my shows, you know how much I've talked about God since day one. And it was an awful representation of that. I'm embarrassed, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure it never happens again. I'm just asking for a little grace. Man, growing up is interesting, and it's not an excuse. But thank you to everyone that's got my back since day one." You got to own it.
Yeah, for sure. That's the first step.
This is the thing.
Yep.
This is my whole opinion on this. When you start bowing down to these people, that's when you lose everything.
Yep.
Like, I kind of want him to be like Billy Ray and be like, "Fuck it, dude."
Yeah, we rocked it out. We rocked it out.
Playing at Luke
That's
Bryan.
what I said.
2 years ago, I was nothing, working on the pipeline, making hourly wages, and now I'm in Cancun partying.
You saw
with
how
Luke
I got
Bryan's
it,
mom.
Little Darlings. Imagine me in
Michael
Cancun, by God.
You can't, if it happens.
Oh God. I'm probably dead, bro.
You can't go and make an apology video.
I would make an apology
can't.
video. I'll say we had a hell of a fucking time.
And that's what I wish this dude
Right,
would do.
exactly. He
Because
can't, though.
He has to.
Yeah.
It's his only option. Because when he starts doing this and he starts, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, Bailey, I'm not knocking you at all.
Yeah.
That's not my perception on this. I'm just telling you, tell those people to get fucked. That's my opinion.
Yep.
Because here's the deal. People pay. Okay, I understand you want to give people the show that they paid for. That is a number one thing. You can't go ripping people off when they've paid their hard-earned money. You owe them a certain level. But when motherfuckers pay $800...
This day and time, you owe them a certain level.
Well...
It was great back in the day when Hank Jr. used to come out 3 sheets to the wind. Everybody was partying and having a good time. That's a different time and era, you know?
Everybody's done it. But the fact that smartphones capture so much, you're so much more level of accountability if you're an entertainer now.
Yep.
But when people pay $800 for a $40 ticket or a $60 ticket, you're inflating your expectations.
For sure.
Because if you buy a $40 ticket and I show up at all, drunk, fucked up, or whatever, you got your money's worth.
Yeah, you got $40 drunk Alan singing a song.
Dude, if you inflate your expectations, that's your loss. You can't give... And a lot of people are doing that.
Well, a lot of people are going to be a lot harder on you, too, whenever you do come out in that situation and you are drinking and had too many drinks.
Right.
And they're like, man, those people booked airplanes, reservations for condos or hotels, whatever they stayed in.
This particular gig is a festival gig.
Oh,
so
okay.
he probably had a short set, an hour and a half max, and there's a lot of other shit going on that day. let it go.
I would have done 10 times worse than he did. I can say that right off the top.
Probably still going to.
Oh, yeah.
Probably still going to.
Just come see my TikTok live sometimes. We
Yeah.
party down in there, and I'm not apologizing for none of my TikTok lives.
But, like, if they would have had smartphones between 1965 and 1978, when George Jones was on the road,
Oh, Lord.
can you imagine?
Can you imagine George Jones on
They would have
TikTok
put him
live?
in prison.
Oh, right.
Because this man didn't not only show up on stage drunk and put on a lot of terrible performances. I love George Jones. I think he's the greatest country music singer to ever live. And Jerry Lee Lewis is probably second. But there was so many shows that he played where it was not good.
Yep.
And even Billy Sherrill, which was his main Nashville producer, like in the mid 70s, when all those iconic, like, She Thinks I Still Care.
Yeah,
and,
the
like
classics.
all the Grand Tour and all that.
Yeah.
He even said that he only got about 80% of what George was capable of doing. There was a 15-minute window when he had enough to drink
Right.
to get in the zone, but
Right.
had not reached that point to where he was back out of it again. You
Right.
know? You got to cut these dudes some slack. Getting up there in front of people and singing and performing is, you know,
It's a task in itself.
and if you're paying overpriced, you know, scalp tickets and you're expecting these grand,
That's y'all's fault for
memorable-
buying them.
Yeah, performance. You don't put that pressure on these guys,
Yep.
man. That's not their fault that, you know, you overpay for stuff.
I did see that, kind of same subject, off subject, but I did see that Gavin Adcock's going on tour with Morgan Wallen. Got Gavin Adcock, Co Wetzel, Morgan Wallen, Brooks and Dunn, Thomas Rhett, Miranda Lambert,
They're all going
Ella
on tour
Langley.
together?
Yeah, it's like, well, I would say that they're probably, those artists are probably playing certain different dates with him here and there.
But
So,
Morgan's the main.
It's Morgan's new tour. It's called.
Yeah, evidently he's
yeah.
got a new album that he's promoting.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not out yet, but like I'm the
Right.
problem or something.
Yeah, we're gonna get Morgan on the podcast.
Dude.
We're gonna get Morgan on the podcast, living the lines.
Imagine?
He said, "What's that one song he had?"
He probably wouldn't talk to me. Have
Probably
you
not.
seen some of the videos of hearing? I'm so out of the loop on this, but like, it's some leaked video of somebody recording Jelly Roll and Upchurch's conversation, and they're talking about Morgan Wallen, and supposedly Upchurch bought Morgan Wallen like a 20 grand chain or something. What?
Yeah, he had
Do you
Chucky
know
Velvet.
anything about that?
Yeah, Chucky Velvet make him a chain of Tennessee balls, with the coon hat on and holding the shotgun.
Yeah.
And then whenever, because Upchurch had one, and then he had Morgan one made.
Right.
I was going to give it to him, and ended up not giving it to him in the end because Morgan didn't want to have nothing to do with him, and so he ended up giving it to the guy that runs the Country Cast YouTube channel.
Right.
I don't know his name right off, but he runs the Country Cast YouTube channel, and he ended up giving him that gold chain in an interview one day.
No, that's so crazy, man.
Yep.
Like, there's so much stuff.
I don't know the whole
stirring
story
around
about all
yeah.
that, but yeah,
Yeah,
there's
like I
always
said-
something going on there.
I just catch glimpses of what's going on, and it's interesting to me.
It's all the music politics.
What else you got, man? Anything you want to hit on?
Not really, man. Just
Doing our thing. You're dropping videos, keeping the TikTok and the YouTube fresh. Go check all that stuff out. Like and subscribe to this Living the Lines channel. Go watch Dustin's episode. Go watch the Jack episode. We're going to keep on doing this as much as we can. Go follow FiveFold Media. Michael
Yeah, it's
McGregor
FiveFold
Music.
Media on all socials. FiveFold Media, you'll find me. I'm not hard to find on any of them. Michael McGregor Music.
He's on the TikTok Live a lot. That's
Yeah,
one
I'm
of our
always banging out
things.
TikTok lives. Going to actually be getting on here in a little bit later on tonight and doing something. The last time I got on was I was about 3 songs in, and that's whenever they shut TikTok down just about a week ago.
Right.
So
TikTok's back.
TikTok's back. Daddy's back. Let's roll with it.
I think that's it, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, y'all check us out. Peace.
Yep. Peace out.